Hello World of Warcraft, this is Sinan with the WoW Dungeon, and this video is an introductory guide for 2v2 Arena. So this is for somebody who's looking to step into the arena, but may or may not be ready yet and needs a little bit more information. In this video, I'll be providing you some information on good kill targets, and on top of that, you'll be able to see me use the looking for group finder to cap my conquest really quickly over the course of 7 games. 6 of the games I actually recorded. I failed to record one of the other games, but you will be able to see my consecutive games, and I'll also be putting in some of my thoughts on it and giving you some overall things to look for so that you can start seeing what it takes to play 2v2. Alright, and also the spec that you should be playing is Beastmaster in order to get into Arena, currently at the start of 6.2. Beastmaster is by far the best and easiest spec to play for hunters in Arena, and it really is good for beginners to pick up and use. If you need some guides on how to do Beastmaster damage and how to kite as a hunter, click the 2 videos and watch those before you actually step into the arena so that you kind of know what you're doing with your hunter. Alright, so the first tip I have for you is to make sure that you are Alliance. Unfortunately, while I prefer playing Horde, Alliance, if you're trying to get into the PvP world, Alliance pretty much dominates PvP right now. The population of PvPers on Alliance side is much greater than the Horde, and if you're just getting into Arena, I recommend using the Looking for Group tool that Blizzard has provided in the Honor tab. If you look at it on the Horde side, it's usually pretty dead compared to the Alliance, so it's going to be a lot easier for you to find Alliance teams and people to play with if you are Alliance. It sucks, I know, but frankly that's what it is right now. So the first tip I have is make sure you're Alliance so you can actually have people to play with. The second tip I have is to know what classes go well with a hunter. Mostly melee is what you want to be pairing yourself up with if you're playing double DPS. Any type of healer will work with a hunter, especially if you're stepping in to Arena for the first time. Personally, I don't like playing hunter healer. It's super slow paced, but it's also really easy for someone who's just getting into Arena. So yeah, you're welcome to do hunter or any healer, but in terms of double DPS, melee is typically the type of DPS partners that you want to have. Now, I will say that the best type of melee is going to be a rogue, a feral, or a retribution paladin, in no particular order. Those are going to be the 3 best classes that you can PvP with, and I recommend trying to find those classes first before you take any other. Good kill targets. Now, kill targets are typically going to be situational. There's always like some default really good kill targets, but things can change around depending on the situation. It's important though to know that your kill targets should be classes that aren't going to dispel your CC or somehow get in the way of you putting out CC. Kill targets are created through being able to put CC into one target in a 2v2 match and then do damage to the kill target. So if you pick a kill target, make sure that you're able to put CC on the other target as much as possible. So there is a tier 1 list, in my opinion, for a general best kill targets. These are targets that have weak defensives over the course of a game, or don't have the ability to really recover. And I will list the tier 1 targets. An example of a tier 1 kill target is a warrior. So a warrior doesn't really have really good ways to stop our damage outside of their 8-second parry, and they don't really have the heals to have a long game. So anytime a warrior is with another DPS, it's really easy to just drill them into the ground because they don't really have a long game and they can't really recover from being just hit a lot. A tier 2 kill target, these classes can move up or down. So they can become the worst kill targets or the best kill targets. And the reason why I put them there is because, again, it's always situational. Sometimes it can be very difficult to have a ret be a kill target when he's dispelling your traps on a target. But other times it can be very good to just train a ret, especially if you have other ways to stop him from putting Hand of Sacrifice on your traps. So tier 2 guys can move up or down depending on the circumstance. And tier 3 is pretty much targets that you almost never want to hit that much. Rogues and healers. These are only really good kill targets if you really don't have any other options or if the player isn't very good. The reason why rogues are very difficult is because of their double evasion, their vanish, cloak of shadows, and feint, and combat readiness. They have so many ways to avoid your damage for such long periods of time that it's very difficult to hit a rogue if he knows how to use his defensives. Healers are also pretty bad targets since they can dispel your CC. However, sometimes it's best to go healer if the other DPS partner is equally as unattractive. So that's really also a call that you have to make. Sometimes you get the best kill targets and you're versing, and sometimes you don't. So you have to be able to adapt and to make sure to put CC on the non-kill target while focusing down the kill target. Alright, so I want to share with you this really cool kind of secret or tip that I actually learned from an arena buddy of mine, Murphy, who was really nice and to give me this tip. It's a really awesome macro. So normally I use my counter shot no mod with my shift to hit focus. Well, there's also the arena 1, 2, 3 macros that you can bind to 3 different keys. But if you're versing a melee cleave, and there's only one person to really kick, why even bother having to know which button that you need to be hitting? Instead, what he recommended was to create another counter shot macro and actually set it to the arena person that you want. So that way, if my counter shot button is Z, all I have to do is hit Z and it goes to exactly who I want to do. So let's say I'm playing against the KFC with the HPAL as a healer, and he's the 3rd slot down. I'm going to change this to Arena 3 and this 3. So no matter what, if I mess up, if I hit Shift Z instead of just Z, it's going to go automatically to the HPAL. And that's really great. It's also really great for really quick movement. So let's say that there's a mage. I've actually had this happen before. A mage is invisible and he starts casting poly. Well, I need to react really fast, so I need to spin around and just hit Z instead of having to hit like Shift 1 or Shift R or whatever your Arena 1, 2, 3 macros are. So that's a really great tip to use whenever you're in Arena, is to use this keybind and to be able to set it specifically who you want to hit. Alright, and one last thing before we get into the matches. This footage right here is just me showing you that I did go through looking for group to play these games. I have no idea who the person that I'm about to play these games with. This guy's totally random, and I want to say that because you should be using Looking for Group Finder to find your partners and be able to recruit people if you don't have people already from there. If you have good games, people are going to want to play with you, so keep trying to Looking for Group Finder. I found some really great arena partners through it. Alright, so in this matchup, it's pretty obvious we're going to go on the warrior. He's the easiest kill target. I'm going to make sure that I focus my counter shot to kick only a mage polymorph. So I'm going to be just holding it for a polymorph from the mage to prevent him from controlling the match. So yeah.
Invis. Stormbolt. Deep Freeze. Comet Storm. Trinketed. Rage Regeneration. Reckless Ice Lockdown.
Alright, so in this fight, you're going to see us go for the priest. The priest is easily the best kill target. Now, what my goal is I'm going to be trying to avoid getting polymorph. They're going to hit the ret because they can mass dispel the bubble on the ret, so they're going to try to hit him. They're going to try to CC me, so my goal is to prevent polymorphs. You're going to see me juke a polymorph, excuse me, not juke a polymorph, but CC the mage during a polymorph cast. He's going to try to cast it again out of a trap, and I'm going to feign death, and then by the third poly I'm going to kick, the fourth poly I deterrence, and finally by the time he lands his first polymorph, and he hasn't even done damage, he is able to land it. So we win this by me being able to avoid polymorphs and doing damage to the Shadow Priest at the same time.
Freedom. Trinketed. Dispersion. Deep Freeze. Comet Storm. Dispersion down. Poly. Trinketed. Poly. Spectral Guise. Shadow Poly. Fiend. Countered. Poly. Poly. Psychic Scream.
Okay, so in this match, we're going up against a Disc Priest and a Combat Rogue. Now, when we get in, the Retribution Paladin wants to hit the Rogue. This is typically a bad idea, especially as this combo, because the Rogue has so many ways to defend himself against double melee. I personally think it's better to go on a Priest, but you can see why in this match why going Rogue is very difficult. Even on the first Hodge that we put on the Disc Priest, the Rogue pops Combat Readiness, which is going to mitigate pretty much all of our damage, and the Ret keeps hitting the Rogue, so I really have no other choice but to hit him as well. It's typically better to go on the Priest. Priest uses his cooldowns for the Rogue to prevent damage. However, you will see at one point a good trap and knockback followed by a slow. So you can use that trick on a lot of healers, is to trap them, knock them off in a bad position, and then apply a concussive shot slow, which means they're going to have a real tough time getting back into a good position. So check out this loss. Try not to go rogues. It's very difficult to hit a rogue.
Trinketed. Psychic Scream. PS down. Vanish. Silence. Is readiness down. Evasion down. Spectral Guise. KS. KS down. Deep Insight. Cloak of Shadows. Psychic Scream. Sprint. Shadow Reflection.
Alright, so in this match is against an HPAL and Warrior. So I'm going to set my counter shot to make sure that it only hits the HPAL since the Warrior doesn't have any casts. Match is a really good example of if you can get a few basic things down, you can really beat out comps that can last longer than you and probably kill you simply because they are making too many mistakes. So watch this match and you can see what mistakes they made and how I got to be able to kick into CC and win the game.
Shockwave. Healing execution. Sweeping strikes. Sacrifice. Enrage regeneration. Hammer of justice. Spell reflection. Divine intimidating favor. Shout. Freedom. Sweeping strikes. Avatar. Recklessness. Rallying cry. Countered. Shockwave. Trinketed. Sweeping sacrifice. Strikes. Spell reflection. Safeguard.
Okay, so in this match you're going to see Shadow Priest versus Ret. Now they're immediately going to go for my Ret because they can Mass Dispel the bubble on my Ret or Bop. So I'm going to want to make sure that I save my kick for a Mass Dispel on the Shadow Priest when my Ret gets low. So if I can do that, I can extend the game and we can whittle down the Shadow Priest. And you'll see me do that in this clip. Another thing too is for Rets, it's really important to save your CC until once they pop their big wings because they will immediately trinket, and then if you can follow that up with other CC, they're forced to sit it during their burst.
Fist of Justice. Avenging healing execution. Trinketed. Fear Ward. Countered. Spectral Guise. Psychic Scream. Freedom. Divine Shield. Fist of Justice. Rebuke. Bubble Down. Freedom.
Alright, so in this match against a Frosty K and a Resto Druid, I personally think it's better for a Ret Hunter team to go on the Druid with cooldowns once the Druid has used this trinket. That's easily the best way to win this match. However, my Ret wants to go on the DK, so I don't really have an option other than to help support him in that. This match goes really wrong because I get behind and I start getting CC quite a bit, and you can just kind of see how things can go pretty wrong, but it does get saved at the end.
Anti-magic shell. Barkskin. Shell down. Trinketed. Displacer beam. Iron weapon. NS. Mind freeze. Mighty Bash. Cyclone. Countered. Dark Simulacrum. Asphyxiate. Freedom. Cyclone. Lichborn. Incarnation Crown. Anti-magic shell. Shell down. Cyclone. Pillar of Frost. Asphyxiate. Trinketed. Displacer Beast. Dark Simulacrum. Mighty Bash. Cyclone. Shadow Meld. Anti-magic shell. Asphyxiate. Shell down. Iron bark. Dark Simulacrum. NS. Pillar of Frost. Displacer Beast. Mighty Bash. Countered.
Alright guys, there is my 6 arena wins that you can see there. 7 games played, 6 games won, fully capped for the week. And hopefully this guide helped you guys have a little more footing in coming into arena. Alright, until next time. See you guys later.